After helping hundreds of drummers over the last 3 years, as well as playing 1,000+ paid gigs at weddings, festivals, private events, and so many other places, I've noticed one thing about you guys. Some of y'all like to overcomplicate things when it comes to getting booked and boosting skills and confidence behind the drums. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the 5 key lessons that took over 1,000 gigs for me to learn, so you can skip all of the pain and trial and error that it took me to get where I am today. The 5 lessons that I'm getting ready to break down are as follows. Lesson number 1 is you have to be dependable. Lesson number 2 is you have to have some sort of social media presence. Lesson number 3 is you need to have some sort of personal brand and identity as a musician. Lesson number 4 is you have to be energetic. And lastly, lesson number 5 is you have to be proficient on your instrument. For those of you that are new here, my name is Zyck. I graduated from Berklee College of Music on a full tuition scholarship, and now I'm a professional full-time musician who gets paid to travel the country and do what he loves. I'm able to do all those things because I finally figured out how the music industry works. And I am confident that if you apply these 5 lessons, then you too will be able to receive some of these opportunities, if not more. And by the way, if you would like to have access to my exact networking techniques, my income strategies, and how I'm able to turn my playing and my passion into monthly income, then you need to hit the link in the description so you can gain access to my School and Chops program, which is going to show you how to build skills and confidence behind the kid, as well as get more and more gigs and get your calendar filled up so you can make more money for yourself and you can chase your dreams. Now, with that being said, let's get into these 5 lessons. Lesson number 1 is going to be that you have to be dependable. If nobody can depend on you, then nobody can call you. You got to think about it like this. If I know that I can call you and I know you're going to be professional and I know you're going to play at a high level and I know you're not going to make a fool of yourself or me on the gig, then what reason do I have to not call you? But if I think of your name and I immediately start to think about how much of a liability you were the last time we played together, that means you're not dependable, and that means I have no reason to call you. So if you want to be out in the industry playing these gigs and making more money for yourself, you have to prove yourself to be dependable. And when I say dependable, I'm talking about in multiple different facets. You have to be dependable in the fact that they know you're a good player. You need to take some time to invest in some lessons or a music mentor like myself, and you need to take time to actually learn the music that they're giving you and make sure you can perform at a high level. You also need to be dependable in the fact that they know you can follow directions. They know that you can speak and communicate with people at these venues without making a fool of yourself. You also need to be dependable in the fact that they need to be able to trust that you are going to show up on time and do what you're supposed to do. They need to be dependable on you in the fact that they know you'll show up with nice clothes on and not be looking like a homeless man when you get to the gig. These are all the different factors of being dependable, and if you're not careful, you will disqualify yourself from these gigs because people think that you're a liability and they feel like they cannot trust you. This is why it's also very, very important to protect your name, because if it starts to get out that you are not dependable, then people will not call you. They'll say, hey man, what do you think about that guy Zyck? Should I call him to play this gig? Nah man, I heard he did so-and-so on so-and-so's gig, so I don't think you should call him. And now I'm already disqualified before I could even meet the person and shake their hand. So lesson number 1 is very, very important. You have to be dependable in multiple facets. You can't just be dependable on the drums or on your instrument, and you can't just be dependable when it comes to showing up on time. You have to be dependable and well-rounded in all of these different areas. The more well-rounded you can be in dependability, the higher the chances are that you're going to get called. The second lesson I'm going to give you is social media presence. You have to have some sort of social media presence these days. It's unfortunate some people are like, man, it's not fair. I shouldn't have to post on Instagram. I shouldn't have to post on YouTube. A lot of older people like to complain, but it just is the way it is. Nowadays, if you are a musician, it runs hand in hand with posting on the internet and having some sort of presence. Notice that I'm not saying you have to have a gazillion followers. That's not what I mean. But when people are looking to hire certain instrumentalists, the only way that they're able to hear you is by looking at what you have on the internet. And if you have nothing on the internet, you are now disqualifying yourself from being able to get that gig. Look at it like this. If I'm looking for a jazz drummer and I ask my friend like, hey man, I'm looking for somebody that can play jazz bass. I got a trio that I got going on tour or whatever the case may be. That friend is going to be like, oh yeah, I know a guy. And I'm going to be like, yo man, let me see his Instagram, right? I want to see if the things you told me about this guy, is he really as good as he is? Is he really as professional as he is? I want to see those things. And the first place I'm going to go is his social media. If I get to his social media and he only has videos and pictures of him just on his birthday or hanging out with the family, then how am I going to know that this person is actually good enough to do what I need them to do? How am I going to know that they're actually professional enough to handle the gig that I want them on? I won't know, which means I'll probably go on to the next person. Unfortunately, these days, your social media is your resume. Depending on how much you're posting and what you have on there is going to determine whether somebody's going to be able to give you an opportunity. Now, the more you post, the better, because there's more stuff for them to look at. But that doesn't mean you have to post every single day or 2 or 3 times a day. If you can only post once a week, that's great. If you can only post once or twice every month, that's also good too. But you need to have something up there if you're looking to get more gigs and you're looking to get more opportunities. Because these days, everybody is on social media. And if you want somebody's attention in a certain way, you need to be able to be appealing to them online, okay? I personally don't put a lot of personal things on social media because my page is all about business, but I've seen people have a great balance. Not everybody's going to be a social media influencer, but you can have a good balance. You can have some videos of you playing in your basement, playing in your garage, working on your craft, as well as some videos of you having a good time with the fam and just being a family person. You know what I mean? You can have a good balance. There's nothing in the rule book that says you have to have one or the other. I personally like to keep my personal business private and post more of my business content for, the School of Chops and posting on YouTube drum covers and stuff like that. But you do not have to do that. You just need to have a couple of videos of you playing, displaying what you can do so people can check you out and kind of understand what you got going on. All right, let's move on to the next step. This next lesson is going to tie in to the last one. You need to have some sort of personal brand and identity. Whenever you get to a certain level of gigs, you're going to start realizing that people are looking for a certain look and they're looking for a certain style. And you need to just be yourself. Don't try to pretend and don't try to be somebody that you're not. You need to be authentic, but you also need to give yourself a chance to let people know who you are, what you stand for, and what you're about. As a musician, you are a walking billboard. You are a walking business, and people will be able to make the decision whether they want to work with you by your appearance, by what you support, by what you do online, and probably like how you're making yourself look. You know what I mean? Emo band or like a grunge band is probably not going to call me because of the way I look. Could I possibly play some of that music? Maybe I could play some of it, but I don't look the part. You got to realize some of these gigs, people are looking for you to look the part. Most of my stuff on social media is very, very, very professional, which is pretty much going to get you in any door. But you have to be careful of the way you're portraying yourself, but make sure you commit to your personal brand. My personal brand is the Zyck the Freak brand. F-R-E-A-K. It stands for fearless, resilient, energetic, authentic, and knowledgeable. Those are the 5 things that I try to live by and I try to commit to better my own life and to serve others that I encounter that are in my life. That is my brand. I stick to the Zyck brand all the time. It is who I am. It is what I do. You have to make sure that you have a brand. What do you stand for? What are you pushing? What do you support, right? And hopefully those things are positive things, because the moment you start getting into letting your personal brand be negative things is the moment you begin to, again, disqualify yourself from certain opportunities and certain gigs. If you are a country music drummer, then you need to make sure that the person looking on your page or the person looking at you in person understands that you are a country music drummer, if that's what you want to do. I have been sort of a chameleon of sorts over the years. I've played country music gigs. I've played reggae gigs. I've played pop gigs, and you can bet that whenever I'm playing those gigs, my appearance is changing so I can fit the part. Now, what will somebody see when they see that? They will see that the Zyck personal brand is ready to adapt to what is needed. They know I can put on a cowboy hat and put on my gator skin shirt whenever it's time to play a country gig, but I also can put on my jeans and a t-shirt and my sneakers whenever it's time for me to play a pop gig. I want people to know that they can call me for whatever gig they need to call me for. If I need to put on the suit and I need to swing a little bit, I can do that. If I need to put on the vest and have my arms out for a rock show, I can do that. But I need the people that are possibly looking at my page to hire me to know that I can do what they need me to do. So when you're building your personal brand, you need to understand that you need to put yourself in a light to where people can see you in the way you want them to see you. A lot of people may not understand this or agree with this, but you control the way people view you, right? You may not be able to control the way people perceive you, but you can control the way people view you by the way you set yourself up, by the way you carry yourself, and by the way you speak and by the things you say. That is going to be very, very important. And people may be thinking, man, this don't really have nothing to do with music. The shirt I'm wearing has nothing to do with music. But I can assure you it 100% does. And you want to make sure that you're building that personal brand and people know what they're getting involved with. And that way they can say, hey, I want to be down with this guy. Or, you know what, I don't think it's going to be a good fit, right? Because believe it or not, a lot of these gigs, people are looking for a certain look and they're looking for a certain type of person for certain gigs. That may be based off the type of music they're doing, or it may be based off the type of people that you're going to be playing with. Are you going to be a good fit? Are you going to fit in with the people that are playing the gig? And are you going to be in a position to be able to help. These are things that you're going to have to think about, and these are things that you're going to have to understand as you begin to spread your personal identity and spread who you are and let people see exactly who you want them to see you as. Lesson number 4 is going to be that you have to be energetic. Now, if you were listening in the last lesson, I explained to you that FREAK, the E in freak stands for energetic. And this is going to be huge. You need to make sure that you understand that your energy is contagious. If you come in the room in a bad mood, in a gloomy mood, and you're not being a good sport, you're not being a good hang, people will feel that and they will not want to work with you anymore. Your energy is so important. What you put out there is exactly what people will receive, and they will mirror that to you. So if you're going to be hanging around a specific group of people for a long time, playing music with them, maybe going on tour with them, maybe playing a lot of dates with them, you need to make sure that your energy is on point, that you are a welcoming and loving and fun person. I can tell you right now, people are always going to tell you the gig has more to do with you being a good hang and being a good person than it has to do with you just being a great player, because there's so many great players, but when you meet them, a lot of them, their energy sucks and their personality is just trash. And that's not what people want. They want to be able to enjoy you on and off the kit. So if you can make sure that your energy is right and that your heart is right, man, people are going to want to be around you and people are going to want to refer you to other people. But if they have a negative experience with you, if you're a little bit, kind of on a weird side and you don't really have good social skills and you're not really the type of person that people want to be around, it is going to be hard for those people to recommend you for different opportunities because of the way you're carrying yourself. And look, like I said, I had another video where people were like, hey man, don't do too much on the introverts. I'm not doing a lot on the introverts. You can still have a good energy about yourself and be an introvert. It's just all about how you're carrying yourself, how you're speaking to others, and the type of person that you are. You know what I mean? When it's time to hang out and it's time to chill. You may not want to be the person that's just never want to hang out with the band after the show, never want to do something with the band, never want to go out to eat and hang out as a band doing things apart from music. You probably don't want to be that guy because you're marketing yourself as someone that doesn't really want to hang out and is not really interested in being around people other than the music fact. And I am telling you, that is going to count against you far faster than it is going to count and help you, okay? So you want to make sure you have a good energy about yourself, got a good smile, man, and you're just very welcoming to people, you know what I mean? And giving them an opportunity to say, wow, I like this guy. This is a good guy. I can work with this dude, or I can refer this guy to my friend, or this guy needs to play on me on another event. I need to have this guy with me at another gig because he has a good energy about himself. And not only is it good to have a good energy about yourself for the bandmates that you're playing with, it's good to have a good energy about yourself for the people that you encounter whenever you're playing these gigs that are outside of the band, right? Can I trust you to be able to talk to the bride at a wedding without making her feel uncomfortable or without making her feel like she made a mistake by booking us? That's the type of thing I mean when I say having a good energy. Let's move on to the next step. The last step is going to be being proficient on your instrument. This is something that I've been telling people for forever, and unfortunately, people still miss the mark. You are never going to get as far as you want to get as a musician in the industry if you are not good at your instrument. Now, granted, some of those guys are going to get a lot of gigs and they're not going to be that good because they have all the other things. But imagine how much more gigs you're going to get if you have all the other things and you're good. It's undeniable. They're never going to want to not call you. They're always going to want to call you. But don't be the person that is just not proficient, that doesn't know what they're doing, that is not confident in their skills on the drums. You want to be the person that when you walk in, everybody's like, hey, yo, that's the drummer. I can't wait for you to hear this guy. You know what I mean? You need to be putting other bands, when they listen to your band and listen to your group, they need to be like, damn, talking to their drummer, why don't you play like that? Why don't you lead us like that? It is very, very important that you are proficient on your instrument. Meaning you need to be able to navigate all these different musical situations at ease. You need to know the music. You need to be able to play what you need to be able to play. You need to be able to execute live. A lot of people can only execute whenever they're in the practice room or whenever they're on Instagram and there's just a camera. But when they get on stage and it's a room full of people, they cannot execute. And I'm sorry, that does not count as being proficient. Can you play whatever you're supposed to play on the fly with little to no mistakes at all? If you cannot answer yes to that question, then you, my friend, are not proficient on your instrument. And keep in mind, it takes time. And it takes time for you to invest your time into being able to say, I'm going to learn this no matter what. And again, I always say it, if you guys are looking to increase your skills on the drums and you want to be a better leader and you want to have better vocabulary, you want to have better flow, you want to have better creativity, you want to have a better pocket, then you need to hit the link in the description because I created the School of Chops program exactly for students just like you. And not only am I going to show you how to increase yourself as a drummer and teach you how to get pro level chops, I'm also going to help you tie that stuff into getting more gigs and diving deeper into my secrets and how I was able to go full time for the last 6 years and never turn back. This is important, y'all. You have to be proficient on your instrument. You're not going to be able to go as far as you want to go if you're not proficient. But luckily, you have me and I'm here to help you. So don't hesitate to hit the link in the description. Now, with that being said, those are the 5 things. If you could commit to doing those 5 things, you are going to take yourself to the next level and the phone will be off the hook. I'm not saying this because I'm guessing. I'm saying this because I am currently living it. If you can make the choice to live by these 5 things that we talked about, there is no doubt in my mind that you will be able to take off in the industry and be the person that everybody's looking at and everybody's like, yo, this drummer is killing. This drummer is amazing, right? Because the people are only going to see that you're proficient. That's the only thing they can see from the stage. Maybe they can see that you're a good performer too. But when they look at you from the stage, the people will only be able to tell if you're proficient or not. But it's so much more to the people that are watching you. It's so much more to it because the people that are watching you aren't the people that are hiring you, right? The person that hired you is the person that is probably playing on stage with you or backstage waiting for you to get done. And those are the people that need to understand that you understand the other 4 things. So all of these things are very, very important. You cannot work on one and not work on the other. But you need to be proficient and you need to understand that it comes a time when you have to make a choice and say, I'm going to be great and this is what I need to do in order to get there. And then you need to work your behind off. Because when I was at Berkeley, man, I wasn't the best. But going to Berkeley was a part of my choice to where I said, I have to be great. And I was blessed to go on a full tuition scholarship. But you need to make that choice. It may not mean that you're going to go to Berkeley. It might mean that you say, you know what, man, Zyck been saying this for a while. I'm going to dig in and I'm going to sign up for his school and I'm going to lock in and I'm going to get better. I'm going to allow him to teach me and allow me to get better. I don't know what your choice is, but make the choice to become more proficient because it will skyrocket you. Now, with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Remember to hit the link in the description if you're ready to get better and you're ready to level up your drumming, your chops, your creativity, and your flow. I will see you guys next time. Y'all take it easy. God bless. Zyck out. Peace.